Now for the topic of today. Okay, for the topic of today, we're gonna keep it short and sweet, but it's kind of a strange topic. I am someone who believes in talking about all topics, topics that matter. That's what this is about, topics that matter. And if we don't discuss it here, where are you gonna discuss it? So I'm gonna keep you in suspense. Okay, I'm gonna keep you in suspense. But it's a critical topic. Okay, it's something that is so overlooked. It's a life or death matter. And I'm not even joking with this. I wish I was joking, but it's a life or death matter. And that is, today's topic is driving safely. I thought I put safety, but I put safely. Safety is your priority, okay? Whatever's in your Bitcoin account, whatever's in your bank account, won't matter, okay? If you're severely injured and can't walk properly and can't talk properly, I mean, literally, it happens when you least expect it, okay? When you least expect it. And so you gotta remember that driving safely is one of the most important things you can do. Driving safely. And so, dangerous driving can instantly end or severely alter your life, okay? If there's one thing that I want you to remember, is that nobody is too experienced, nobody is too perfect to avoid a car crash. I witnessed a car crash, and I have some footage of some car crashes, where it's just something that you would never expect it to turn into a car crash, ended up becoming a car crash. And, well, yeah, here's one. Okay, this is actually from recent footage. I found it on the internet, and I just want to explain it. This is called side swiping, I believe. Yes. And we're going to watch the video. I don't know how it's going to turn out on the phone. We're going to find out. Yes. So side swiping, here we have Honda Civic. And at the last second, if you're familiar with driving in GTA, this is actually Black Creek. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but Black Creek Drive. And if you miss the exit, basically, it's going to take you all the way to Mississauga. I believe this is 401. Yeah, 401. Highway 401. This is recent. Side swiping. At the last second, this car stops, which you can also blame the car for stopping. Why didn't they move to the other lane? But the car in front of that car stopped before them. And so this Honda Civic decided to move to the right-hand lane. And that is what caused the damage. And what this footage doesn't show you, it was too graphic, is that the car that was recording this, the dash cam footage, actually ended up in that barrier there, and it ended up having severe damage to legs and all sorts of things. That footage was not publicly released, but all because of that driver's decision, which, depending on if there are cars behind them, you can also say that maybe the car that actually did the side swiping, is not at fault. It was maybe the two cars in front of it that were at fault for stopping instead of moving on to the next lane. Maybe, who knows? Who knows what was going on? This is all speculation. I wasn't there, of course. But this kind of event is almost impossible to predict when you're someone that drives on the 401 on a daily basis, weekly basis. And side swiping is the least of your concern because that Honda Civic probably had the least amount of damage. And this is, I think it ended up having a 5-vehicle collision or something like that. And many other cars were involved. So just want to show you that this small move, and the car, honestly, I put the car in front of the Honda Civic and the two cars in front of the Honda Civic at fault too, because they should not be standing there and watching a car crash. I know when you see bright lights, it's very tempting to stand and watch. That is not a good idea, okay? Whatever car crash, take a quick glance, see what the damage is, and keep moving. Whatever you do on the highway, do not stop. Do not stop on the highway for any circumstance. It's called a highway with no stop signs, no street lights whatsoever, because you're not supposed to be stalled. You're not supposed to be stopped on a highway, okay? When you're stopped on a highway, that means something is severely wrong, and you never want to be part of the problem. You want to be part of the solution. Okay? So there's no space. You can also say the car that's recording the dash cam might have, should have, could have moved and used the exit, but that was probably not their exit. So why would they think about moving? And there's just a lot of things. And there's another one though, DVP and Young, which is something that if you're a downtowner, you're very familiar with Don Valley Parkway. And this was on Tuesday, July 8th. I'm recording this on July 14th, so less than about a week ago. About a week ago, 5:40 p.m. So this is rush hour, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. is a rush hour. It's probably, to be honest, 3 to 7 p.m. That's rush hour, but this is actually the 5-vehicle collision, and this is just a picture that was posted on the internet. Whatever's on the news, I'm presenting to you. And it's graphic. It's a pickup truck and just multiple cars. And I believe they shut it down. They shut down, I believe it's southbound or northbound, can't remember. But they shut down the whole DVP because of this. And they didn't release any of the cause. This is a recent event, but 5:40 p.m. If you're on that Don Valley Parkway stretch, there are very few alternatives, especially once you get closer to downtown, south of Bloor. So you might have been stuck there for hours and hours and hours. You're not going to get home for dinner, okay, if this kind of things happens. So actually, I have some details from what I found on the internet. DVP collision details. 5 vehicles involved, several fires. So several cars were on fire. One deceased. That means dead on arrival, dead on the scene. Think of it. One person deceased there on a very normal day, 5:40 p.m. You're coming back from home, work. You're going home. You're thinking about all the things that you need to do, and then you're deceased. 4 others taken to hospital. And just remember, car crash, depending on the speed when you're going, there's going to be severe damage to the car, but there's also severe physical and psychological damage that will take you years to recover from. So please, please, please drive safely. If you can do one thing for me, drive safely. And you might say Tesoro is paranoid, but I'm only making this video because I care about you. And if you don't drive, maybe this doesn't apply to you, but if you don't drive, I don't know anyone who doesn't drive that doesn't plan on driving in the future, because it allows you freedom to travel, freedom to navigate, all these different things. It's expensive. That's a whole different conversation. But this is about driving safely, okay? And just remember, many car crashes happen close to home. Many car crashes happen close to home. And so what we need to remember is that don't think because you're in familiar territory that all the other cars are really thinking about you. You know, this is a dog-eat-dog world, okay? I care about my interests. I care about my financial interests. I care about my family's interests, all these different things that I own or that are a part of me. And yeah, when I'm driving, one tip is that I always leave as much space as I can in front of me. As long as you keep space between yourself and the car in front of you, if the car in front of you stops suddenly, you'll have the time to maneuver. Just like in that Honda Civic case, if you're so close to the car beside you and in front of you, to be honest, yeah, it's hard to keep distance from cars in front of you, beside you and in front of you. But just keep as much space as you can, depending on the speed. So a rule of thumb is the higher the speed, the more space you should have between the car in front of you, the car beside you, the car to the left of you, and perhaps, if you can, as a bonus, the car behind you. Okay? I keep looking at my watch because I learned a new detail of Apple is that they allow you to see what's on camera on your watch. So, Apple's a great company. Who would have even thought about it? That you could take what would normally require a huge studio and a camera person and whatever, and with some few devices, with investing in some devices, you'd be able to communicate and make your own videos. That's probably not a good thing for jobs, machines taking away human beings' jobs, but it makes you so much more productive. You're able to do so much more so much faster if you have these tools, technological tools. And not to say that I'm advertising or promoting Apple. You can say if you're holding a phone, Apple phone, you're a user of Apple and you're promoting the phone by holding it. But anyways, that's a digression. Just remember, keep as much space as you can, especially when you're moving at high speeds, okay? When you're moving at high speeds, that's when you need the most space. Okay, and just remember, many car crashes happen close to home because that's when people take off their belt. People are not looking at their surroundings. People are used to seeing empty streets and nobody's there. And when you think nobody's there, that's when you usually see a kid crossing the street and fatality might happen. I don't want any fatalities. I don't want any safety injuries because I care about you. I care about you, okay? I care about you. So let's wrap this up. But here's another critical tip. Never leave children in the car. What do I mean by that? Never leave children in the car? I'm going to show you. I have a picture. This is something I saw on one of our favorite social media sites. That's Facebook. And that is definitely a computer-generated AI image. But just remember, let me read it to you. This is about heat stroke and heart failure. Heart failure, think of it. So this one is about babies in the car with a car seat. You're feeling good. You're feeling secure. Summertime means summer heat. If you see a child alone inside a car this summer, call 911, okay? So do your due diligence. Pay attention to cars. And if you see a child, even if you see a dog, they say, in a car unattended, that means you should call 911 or at least investigate further, stay for 30 seconds and see if the parents are coming back to the car within a very short period of time. Because heat stroke and heart failure can happen in minutes, within minutes. We're talking within less than 5 minutes. Because a baby, of course, baby is smaller, so that means the organs are smaller, and that means they need more oxygen, not less oxygen. And you might say, okay, adults can stay in a car with the windows closed in the heat for a long period of time. Maybe, maybe not. But in case you didn't know, babies cannot be left in a car, in a hot car especially, in a hot car unattended for any period of time. So I got something from the TTC. If you see something, say something, okay? If you see something, say something. Just remember that. Because you, and only you, can prevent severe and irreversible injury. Only you. With your decisions, the decisions that you make for yourself, for your own interests, your own health, your own security, your own safety interests, physical, mentally, whatever, for your own interests and for the interests of others. If you don't care about others, people will not care about you, okay? That's true in life, in all aspects of life. You're working for a place, you're a professional, you need to care about others. And just on a humanitarian basis, care about each other enough to be safe on the streets. So that's all I want to say to you today. We're going to keep it short. Drive safely. If you know somebody that needs to drive safer, send them this video. Tell them about Tesla Mogas. Tell us about our East Africa Showcase networking events. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. I'm going to try to be consistent. But let me know. Let me know if you see this video. Hit me a text. Hit me a line. Hit me an email. And if you like it, let me know. But what I really would appreciate is if you share it to your friends and their family, because when we're talking about driving safely and we're talking about only you can prevent severe and irreversible. Oh, hold on. Before I end this, I got to say irreversible injury. Okay? Irreversible injury. We need to remember that it is a blessing. It is a true blessing to be born healthy with physical limbs, with cognitive ability, okay? We should thank our parents, actually. That means our parents took care of their own diet, took care of their own living environment, and then we were able to be born healthy, okay? Not everyone has that opportunity, Okay, not everyone has that opportunity to be born. There are so many different kinds of impairments. Being in healthcare, I would take 2 hours to describe all the different impairments. But there are physical impairments, cognitive impairments. And what we have to remember is that we have to do everything possible to keep ourselves healthy, to keep ourselves engaged, and to take care of others if they need it, if they're requesting it. Okay? Don't cause problems, solve problems. Just remember that. Solve problems where you can and where it's appreciated. If somebody says, I don't need the help, I got this, okay. But yeah, in other news, I think I'll end this video there just to keep it on the topic of drive safely. But please, 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 whenever you're out and about, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of what you post online, and be aware of how you operate a vehicle. This is Tesor Moges, East Africa Showcase. Thank you very much. Signing off.